All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. This is on Friday, where with Social Square, we talk about matters politics, but with the young people. It's a state of the nation of some sort, so we find out what their thoughts are on everything that's happening on politics and everything in between. We'd also like to hear from you at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak, send in some of your views. We're also on standby for ODM leader Raila Odinga, who's being interviewed on Noro FM or Noro TV in a short while. As soon as that happens, we'll cross over there and hear what he has to say in regards to all the appeals that's happening. But for now, let me introduce my guest real quick, beginning from my left, Gloria Oruoba. Thank you for making time.
Asante sana.
She's a youth policy expert and also an aspirant for Bobasi, member of parliament position.
Ground iko sawa.
Ground iko fiti. Good to know. Moses Kilonzo is also here, chairperson, persons living with disabilities, Lower Eastern. Asante for making time. On my right, Arnold Maliba, executive director, Open Future Hub. You haven't declared whether you're running or not, are you?
I did.
You're waiting for BBI to split Kileleshwa, then it's
you know, I already did, but I know how my friends are. They don't want to support me.
What are you talking about? This is your chance.
But I've actually made up my mind.
Where are you running?
I'd like to try my hand on Mathare constituency because that's where I was
Mathare.
born and grew up.
Okay, Mathare constituency, member of parliament aspirant.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Mudiora Kariara, party leader TGN, he calls it the great nationhood. You're running for president.
Yes. I'm glad you added that straight up,
Yeah.
like I did in 2017. I'll be approaching Kenyans in 2022 so we can have a real transformative agenda for this nation taken to the people, done by the people who matter the most, and that's the majority, the young, the youth.
Okay. We'll get into that in just a bit, all right? So keep your views coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. The conversation begins right now. And we'll start with the front page of the Daily Nation and the Standard. It's all about Ruto's elite GSU security being replaced, a man under pressure. Maliba, I'll start with you. What do you make of these conversations that are going on now? So the president came out and told his deputy to resign. The deputy comes back, says, I'm a man on a mission, I'm not going anywhere. Then now we see all this happening right now and the rearrangements in parliament. So what do you make of this quagmire that the executives seem to be going through right now?
Well, I doubt we really are looking at that as anything that we should be surprised about because we saw this coming. In fact, I think worse days are coming ahead because once the president and the deputy president got to a place where they are having direct exchanges, then you realize that some people, especially within the controls of violence, the people who have got a monopoly of violence, specifically Harambee House, then would want to push an envelope too far. And you know what they did yesterday? Technically, they will actually be showing up today to explain that, of course, we recalled the unit that was guarding the premises to retrain them so that the president is, the deputy president is more secure. There are two angles to that. Number one, once the president got into a public spat with the deputy, the honors to secure the deputy president fell on him. That if anything then happens to the deputy president is actually to blame. So he's doing that, but yesterday the way they did the handover between the two forces, the two units, between the GSU and then the AP, some other sources were saying it's the SOG. The SOG is the Special Forces Unit for the AP, which is actually a secretive unit. So many people know about RDU, SGB, SIPU, and the others, but not a lot of people know about the SOG. But then, of course, the way it was done was to just, particularly to send a point somewhere. The point was made that, you know, you are withdrawing a unit, and first of all, as you withdraw, there is not just a change between two units, but it's done in a way that there is even a worry that you probably are withdrawing security. Then, of course, there is then the conundrum that is law. Yeah. The Police Act, on the other, saying that the security of the president and the deputy president and the ministers is under the command of GSU. And then a separate law saying that a deputy inspector of police should be the one in charge of that. But then the way the forces work, at least in projection of power and the dynamics of forces, is never just in a linear way. So you will find a small unit, which is an asset of a certain police force or formation, that administratively looks like it's junior, but in functionality, it's actually much higher. Yeah. I'll give you an example. If you look at GSU, for example, sometimes it looks like it's a standalone unit, yet it's under the Kenya Police. DCI, for example, sometimes you can actually think that the Director DCI, Kinoti, and the IG Police are equals, yet administratively, DCI should be under the police. So, of course, that is where the politics is coming in, that, of course, the way we know the functionality of GSU is that it should be slightly higher than AP, but somebody would argue that SOG is well trained by the Americans, it's doing good work, so it's okay. And then there's the law and argument around there. The whole idea was just to pass a political message. I also hope that the masses that also spoke online, in person, I saw individuals showing up at the Deputy President's residence. That was also people speaking, and I hope that those who are making, testing the waters, saw exactly what can actually come out. Okay.
How would you deal with a situation where your deputy you seem to be at loggerheads? You're not reading from the same script.
Simple. Just follow the law. Do that which the manual says you should do. But then, looking at what happened yesterday, I'm not shocked. We have a rogue government in place, and the modus operandi of a rogue government is they operate on impunity. So when you downgrade the security of the second in command by over 75%, what message are you sending to the people? That you're now politicizing security, which is something that we should desist from. We saw back in 2017 when security was withdrawn from the NASA principles. Back then, unfortunately, it was the same group whose security is being interfered with at this moment who are celebrating. But now they are the wearer of the shoe. As much as they did not do a thing then, we should not chastise them, but rather condemn what the government is currently doing. We cannot afford to play with security, even if we mean to send a message.
Or what do you think?
I think there's so many things at play here, but the timing is very suspicious, because this comes just days after the president actually asks his deputy to resign. And even if you're in a workplace and something like that happens, your immediate concern is that you're actually being, punished for something,
Victimized.
Victimized, actually, that's the word. But I would say there are many people who are saying that if the deputy president actually is not happy in that marriage, that he should quit. But Trevor, a marriage is a partnership between two people. And if we are respectfully going to understand it as a marriage, then, it is not the wife who has to quit or the husband who has to quit. I mean, it's both parties can equally say, this is not working out for me, and I feel like I'm frustrated. From the interview that we saw, Uhuru Kenyatta, our president, actually asking the deputy to resign, he was very frustrated. You could tell from his body language, you could tell from his, tonation when he was speaking, you could tell that he was a very frustrated person. And so, I mean, if it's about that, if you're frustrated, then quit, he's equally as frustrated. So should we also ask him to resign as the president, Then that's the question. I mean, what we're seeing now, particularly with this issue with security, I'm glad that our candidate, and you're representing us in the youth, that you actually are putting it out there that you would follow the law. I believe that when we look at these positions, we should not personalize them such that it is Trevor Ombija who's the deputy president. I have issues with Trevor Ombija, so I will follow it personally. I think that's the reason why we have a constitution. That's the reason why we have laws, because it's not about the person holding the office, it's about the office. So if we see this kind of issues happening now, and the office of the deputy president has actually been disrespected to an extent that when you're looking at the partnerships and the formations that are actually being, the coalitions that people are trying to get into now, everybody's afraid to be the deputy president. Everybody's afraid to be the running mate, because they look at what is happening to the current deputy president and they think, do I really want to be in that position for 5 years? Do I really want to be in a position where I am undermined by my juniors, in a position where actually, for me, this kind of, and they might say that they want to have an effective and efficient security, but for me, when someone comes to your homestead, because this was at the residence, and says, now these guards who you have familiarized yourself, who you have trained on certain protocols, and let me say your routine, and takes away your guards and says, wacha nikuletee wengine. Actually, what they're trying to do, because now you can imagine in your own home, you're sitting with strangers who you're not sure what the intention is. So the political statement was, hata ukiendelea kufanya what you're doing there, hosting your meetings, calling people, because, you know, this was actually when they had the Nyeri, they had the delegation from Nyeri. It was one of those things of, we are the ones in power, and any moment now we can do anything to destabilize you.
Yeah.
But Trevor, the question is, in 2022, including those who are in studio, our presidential candidates, how sure are you that this power that you might be given by the people legitimately through the votes, how sure are you that the state will be handed over to you? That's actually, for me, the question.
Yeah.
Because if I am in control of all the instruments of power, and I am giving all the signs that I am not going to follow the law, what does that mean for us in 2022?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moses, what are your thoughts on this?
Thanks first for having me. So let me first welcome every Kenyan to the Kenyan version of politics. Now, it's good first for us to think where the fallout started between the president and the deputy. You know, during their first term, 2013-2017, they used to walk like brothers. You know, I'm told they used to wear ties and suits that resemble each other. But first, we can ask ourselves, what exactly happened that today they are not the same guys they used to be? And for a fact, that is not in the public domain, because we've been hearing the president saying that maybe it's because Ruto is campaigning too early, but actually the president started campaigning for Ruto way before William Ruto started campaigning in 2013. The president started saying it's yangu kumi, ya Ruto kumi. So who started campaigning for Ruto early? It's the president. So definitely that is not where the fallout is. And so it is definitely not in the public domain. And so when we see all this as politicians and as people who understand Kenyan politics, we ask ourselves what exactly is happening, and then we try to peruse now and see where sits the wind. And just before yesterday, there was this story that you know, of the Turkish guy, and being involved with the deputy president, and the deputy president said he made a phone call to Equity Bank, and a loan of 15 billion was extended, and then Equity Bank again goes to the parliamentary committee and says they never gave any loan to anybody. And then the following day, you see security being withdrawn. Not withdrawn actually, but security officers being exchanged from GSU to AP. And then you wonder, the first question comes now, as an opponent, or rather as if actually the president didn't want the deputy president to become the president in 2022, you would expect after what exactly happened with Equity, he would try maybe to peddle that and try to tarnish his name and all that. But the following day, here comes a thing that actually wipes out the media coverage on the Equity saga, and now the media is now given another saga to cover of security. So you ask yourself, actually, why exactly is that happening? And then now you realize, you start actually analyzing and asking yourself, is it a plan between the president and the deputy president that he does things that will win the deputy president sympathy votes, but things that would look like they are tarnishing his name, he tries and maybe wipes them out in a witty way.
So you think this is all a ploy?
Yeah,
They're in together.
It is actually, because I'm telling you, Trevor, that's why I first welcomed you to the Kenyan version of politics, because that is Kenyan politics now, and you need to be acquainted to all these things. So what exactly we are seeing, in my view, actually, it's definitely a plan. It was a plan because since 2013 to 2017, everybody knows that is when the Kenyan economy started shaking. You know, it went down. It was never the same the way Kibaki left it. So William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta knew very well. In the second term, if they be together, William Ruto will bear all the blames of this government. So in my view, they had to scheme and plan to come up with something that William Ruto will not be maybe associated with this government, but they had to do it in a witty way that he will find a platform, a better platform to campaign in 2022. But all said and done, what we saw yesterday, now, according to me, it's very bad for us to try and insinuate that AP are not part of our security, officers. Changing from GSU to AP, to me, is not a significant, actually, thing, because according to me, they are all paramilitaries, and they are trained officers. They know how to take guard and all these things. They are trained. Okay. So I don't think.
So we can also change the presidential one.
Trevor,
to AP.
just
let me
just shed some light on this. Yeah. Having been a beneficiary of that kind of security, the way it normally works is you are given leeway to select even specific officers that you would like to have in your protection unit. But in the case of the deputy president yesterday, he was told that this is already decided upon and new faces showed up. Yeah. That's the way that it works.
Okay. Maliba, should he just resign? I mean, this is what was called out, and many people have said that the president himself, his allies have been talking about it, but just the other day, he said it himself, that if he's not happy, he should leave government. Should the deputy president leave government?
The president himself is not happy with government. You see, and this is not actually a light matter. The president is not happy with government.
Okay.
The president has said the constitution which he swore to protect is not good. It is part and parcel of what? That is actually the anchor of our governance. So the president is not happy with government. The president has said that he has appointed some people and they have actually stolen. The president is not even happy with the government he has formed himself. Why hasn't he resigned? Let's just say this, exactly. Call it for what it is. That you're going to find a lot of arguments around AP and GSU. So then people will go and pick a certain part of legislation, especially the National Police Service Act and the standing orders, and then try to conflate issues. Then they will say that the security of government installations and the DP's place and everything else is this and that. The deputy president is still guarded as an individual by the Reke group of GSU, but then the facility is now taken care of. We can go around and do that. But we need to say this in very uncertain terms, that it is dangerous, the game that they did yesterday, the things that they are trying to do, even if it's just to make political points, it is dangerous doing what they did. But I know that the deputy president is a man of means. He can take care of himself. You saw that he didn't make even any calls, but in Eldoret, people showed up and decided that they were going to guard. The civilian guards were taking care of his property, for example. So the deputy president can't take care of himself. But then I would say this, that game, trying to push that envelope the way some few people try to do, is not as dangerous as what this administration has been to this country. Number one, getting us the debts that they have brought us this far. Number two, disrespecting the rule of law and disrespecting courts and judiciary every single day. it is not as dangerous as that. I think there are other things that we really need to look around that. The deputy president should not resign. Why is he resigning? Even his own president is angry with his own government. This is the man who is the last call. He's angry with his own government. He doesn't like this country. He formed a government with William Ruto. He did not like it. He went and brought in Raila, for example. He was not happy with his own government. He formed a pseudo government under the BBI thing. So if there's anyone who has been very angry, and you will realize, if your memory serves you right, that at some point when the president wanted to make a statement, Kenyans will then go online and say, the president is now preparing to get angry. Very angry with the country, angry with the people. He even left social media. So the way he left social media, he should also leave the government and go. So he should not be telling Ruto to leave. A man who was so angry, he left social media. He is angry with everybody. I'm told he's even not called the cabinet for the last 5 months because he is angry with a few of the people he chose. If there's a man who should go, he should be the president, not the deputy president.
What do you think?
According to the framework of our constitution, the deputy president is part of the presidency. And as much as the president may not assign duties to him directly, there is the role of the presidency. For instance, national unity. William Ruto, being part of government, is serving that purpose. Yeah. So as much as he is pushed that he should now resign, because he feels he still is serving national interest being in office, we should respect that. It's not his prerogative that he has no roles. Okay. That's the president's undoing. Okay. So by no means should we push him or say that he should resign.
Okay. Gloria?
Trevor, you know Friday we had the judgment for BBI.
Yes. And
that morning people said, "Ata tunaomba hiki tuipite because we don't want to stay locked up. We don't want to be punished. We don't want." There was this anxiety that if this thing doesn't go the way with which President Uhuru Kenyatta wants it to go, we are going to be punished. That was just Friday. So you can imagine a few days later, all these things happen. So, I mean, I think for me, the worst thing about this situation is that we are, what, less than 12 months to the next general elections. Mm-hmm. And you know, Trevor, in 2007, 2008, I was actually very heavily pregnant with my son. And, you know, it's just that Kenyans could not read the signs. But the signs were this kind of shenanigans happening, you know. One side of the political divide is so upset, they want to go to the streets and, you know, provoke the other side. Decisions such as this are being taken, and, you know, to them it's like, it's a light decision. Let me show them who's in charge. Let me show. But what's happening is the Hustler Nation movement is so massive, and some of them don't necessarily have that capacity to think about, you know, the actions. It's almost reactive. Like yesterday you saw, immediately they had that the security was withdrawn, and there was all this mockery of, you know, if William Ruto says he has the God and the people, why does he need security and things like that? There was a lot of provocation online. And then you saw, you know, masses of people going to, you know, for instance, the DP's home in Sugoi, saying that sasa tutamchunga, you know, and things like that. And, you know, it's funny in a way, but we shouldn't take it lightly. Because at the end of the day, the next thing is that you just need one extra provocation and you don't know what's going to happen in the streets. And it's unfortunate that the people who have been given the responsibility to safeguard the peace in this country, you know, the cabinet secretaries who are supposed to be actually speaking proactively for the youth. The other day I heard John Sheru speaking so passionately about a topic that he seems to completely be, you know, misunderstand. And I ask myself, do you understand that 75% of the registered voters are actually youth? And they are listening to you. And unfortunately, they are smart enough to understand what is right and what is wrong. So the only thing that is happening is people are getting very agitated. People are getting very anxious. And the worst thing about this is, having lived through the 2008 post-election violence, I would say that someone has to call the peace. Someone has to be the bigger person and actually say, you know what, this whole thing, this country is bigger than myself. And a lot of guys are saying, you know, the deputy president is the deputy. Why can't he be the bigger person and step down? And, you know, when you look at the actions that are out here and you look at what William Ruto is doing, I mean, what more can he do to say that I am no longer, you know, he said, I'm not going to antagonize my boss. He said, I'm not going to go out and do this. It's almost as if saying, Trevor, we need you to stop breathing so that we can have peace. Because what he came out and said that he has no luxury to actually, you know, not follow his mission and things like that. Those are the rights of Kenyans. You know, everyone, like we are sitting here, I'm an aspirant for Member of Parliament of Obasi. If someone says me aspiring to be Member of Parliament is causing the anxiety, so I should step down, you're actually taking away my right of being a Kenyan citizen. Okay. So what more is expected from the deputy president so that people can say, okay, you're not antagonizing? The way I see it, I'm really calling out to our President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah. Whether he likes it or not, Trevor, he cannot be president again. It is finished. Okay. Whether he likes it or not, he has to have a succession plan. He has to hand over this country to whoever else, whether it's Miguna, he has to have a plan. So at the end of the day, whatever he's trying to showcase right now is completely unnecessary and just taking this country to really serious places.
All right, Moses, what do you think? For you, I know you have a very interesting theory that this is all orchestrated and planned.
And that's why I first welcomed you to the Kenyan politics. Yeah. Trevor, let me tell you something. Uhuru Kenyatta has been with William Ruto since, say, 2012, when they formed the TNA-URP coalition. And Uhuru Kenyatta knows what William Ruto is capable of. He knows this guy knows how to coin phrases that resonate with people. Like in 2013, we know he said digital versus analog. And then people started seeing the likes of Raila like being analog, and then the likes of Ruto and Uhuru being digital. Then 2017, again, he came up with another phrase, Uhuru tano tena, Uhuru Ruto tano tena. And then it resonated with people. Now he has come with another phrase, the hustler nation, the bottom-up economic model. And Uhuru Kenyatta knows all these things actually. And if at all you want to tell me, Trevor, that Uhuru Kenyatta does not want William Ruto to become president 2022, then why is it that he is doing things that are giving William Ruto sympathy votes? Because you cannot tell me every single day he's coming up with something that will win William Ruto sympathy votes, and we know that our president is obviously is having, you know, political advisors, and you cannot tell me all his advisors cannot see all these things. And we know whatever happened yesterday, if William Ruto wants to extract some political dividend out of it, he will actually easily do it, because he will maybe try to say, oh, somebody tried maybe to you know, to come into my house through the fence, and the GSU are withdrawn. You know, he will start, you know, doing all those things. And you cannot tell me all the political advisors are not seeing all those things. So when we see these things happening as Kenyans and as youths, and that's why I am very much surprised when I see William Ruto trying to say that his UDA party is not a, you know, ethnic-based party, it's a national party and all that. And trying to say that youths nowadays are not ethnic-based thinkers. But let me ask you, Trevor, it's these youths who are finishing university. It's these youths who are going to these government offices and, you know, finding the guys working in the government offices are speaking are not speaking Swahili or English, they are speaking their mother tongue. And maybe 70% of them are from one ethnic group. There are these youths who are seeing our cabinet. After Uhuru and Ruto came into power, the youth saw the cabinet, the way it was selected, and from which tribes it consisted. So when you come and try to portray yourself as a nationalist, as a person who is not, affiliated to any tribe, it's like you came from heaven. It doesn't make sense, because the best test is what you've been up to in the last 8 years. What have you done? Which steps have you been taking to just show us that you are not tribal? Okay. And
so you still think the ethnic politics is still a very real issue even with the young people?
It's very much real, because Trevor, let me tell you something. A young person who is looking for job today and goes to all these offices and finds ethnicity in those offices, maybe people from the same tribe, are the ones, in these vacancies, and maybe after interviews you see again the selection is from one tribe. This person will think, if a person from my ethnic tribe actually was the president, maybe I would have gotten this chance. Maybe I would have seen these offices, people from my tribe, and after the interviews I'll be in here. So it's the youths who are facing all these things, and that's why you see in every single election, people come to, try to say, oh, youths are not tribal, but after elections, people come and realize that tribalism is real in Kenya. And it's real because of the people who are in power. They are peddling it underground. They are doing it, and it's a real thing, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
All right, I have to take a quick break. When you come back now, we talk about where does that leave the young people, because they form 75% of the voters register, but do they exist as a voting bloc, and what should their priorities be at this particular point? We're back in just a bit. Keep your views coming. I see them at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. I'll read some of them when we return.